Okay, well, Trump has said that America is going to take over the Gaza Strip and expel all the Palestinians. So I guess that's that, right? America is going to own Gaza, and everyone's having a panic attack. And I'm asking, why do you think that you still live in a world where America can unilaterally decide what happens in the world? Because this is essentially what your problem is. Never mind whether Trump is serious or not about what he's saying. Never mind about that. I'll talk about that in a minute. But why would anyone in 2025 think that it matters even slightly whether he is serious or not? The world is not America-centric anymore. I mean, truth be told, Trump himself is not America-centric. I mean, think about it. America occupied Afghanistan for 20 years to destroy the Taliban. Taliban is the government right now, and America left. America said that they wanted to topple Bashar al-Assad all the way back in 2011, and it didn't happen until just a couple of months ago. And it was accomplished by Turkey, by Iran, and by Russia. And in fact, the government that they have today in Syria is from a group of people whom the Americans designated as terrorists. And then they had to rescind that. You know, America can't even get Russia out of the Ukraine. They tried to get Maduro out of Venezuela and they failed. Now they're doing deals with him. They failed in Bolivia. They failed in Georgia. They failed in Kazakhstan. They failed in Hungary, barely holding on in Moldova. They failed in Niger. They failed in Burkina Faso. They failed in Mali. They failed in Ethiopia. They failed in Guinea. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's been a very long time since America could just say to anyone, this is how things are going to be. So I don't know why anyone acts like America is the CEO of American supremacy. Has always been a function of relative power. The Soviet Union was America's only real global competitor at that time. But even then, they weren't equal, really, in terms of economic output, technological innovation, global reach, and so on. But yet they were still enough to keep America from being globally supreme. I mean, the USSR was militarily formidable, but it was an economic and administrative disaster. Their collapse was self-inflicted. It wasn't the consequence of American power. The Soviet collapse was caused by inefficient central planning. It was caused by bad policy, overextension of military spending to try to keep up with the U.S. and their military spending, internal corruption, stagnation, failed economic reforms like perestroika. That system died. It wasn't killed. The U.S. didn't defeat the Soviet Union. They just outlived it. It was the default superpower, not because America was all powerful, but because nobody else was left. And now himself has acknowledged that America, being the unipolar global superpower, was an anomaly of history. And that moment has now passed into history. The U.S. only appeared unstoppable because no competitor existed until now. Geopolitics and so forth, and then of course the Global South, the entirety of the Global South, BRICS, alliances against U.S. hegemony. All of this are competitors that America can't cope with. I mean, just look at Russia. In some ways, Russia today has even more influence than they had when they were part of the Soviet Union, when they ran the Soviet Union. I mean, it's a significantly smaller economy than the United States, but the strategic importance of that economy and the strategic importance of their economic relationships is still enough to frustrate America's dominance. So you see what I'm saying? I mean, when you really look at it, objectively, America's narrative, it was the Soviets who ultimately defeated the Nazis, not America. 80% of Nazi casualties were inflicted by the Soviet Union, by Soviet troops. John Wayne didn't defeat Hitler. That's all Hollywood propaganda. The truth is that a great deal of the strength and a great deal of the power that everyone thinks that America has, it never really did have. That's a finishing, because it always relied on the absence of any other power existing. Well, now other powers exist. So you have to understand both that, first of all, America never was as powerful as you have been made to believe it was. And secondly, you have to understand that the power that they did have is in steep decline. And as I've talked about, the power structure in America knows this. They're fully aware. That's why we see them withdrawing. That's why they're self-isolating. It's not by choice, it's by necessity. They have to. Because not only does America not enjoy global supremacy, they're not even competitive anymore. They don't have the coercive power that they had when there was no one else on the block. Really, there are only two main reasons why we ever thought that America was so powerful. First, like I said, is because after the collapse of the Soviet Union, there simply wasn't anyone else. So in the absence of